do things, I'm sure she would support Noy's candidacy.
From Mahay Balilo, she asks, how do you feel when your parents are dragged into the mudslinging of the campaign? Have they been?
Well, somebody had said that my mother had asked for the Subic-Tarlac Expressway, and I am very sure that she never did. Of course, she was happy when President Estrada inaugurated a Japanese firm in the Luisita Industrial Estate. And she was asked by media, she said, of course, I'm so happy if this can be done. But I'm very, very sure she never asked President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo for that to be done. Neither did she ask President Estrada.
Oh yes, there was that
I think that's the only thing that's been said so far.
that she lobbied for it.
Yes.
And you and your sisters are also wanting to sell your share in the hacienda, but no takers.
So far.
But then,
But it's a little complicated, isn't it? I mean, there are debts there, and I've spoken to your brother about it, and it's not as simple as turning it over, because there's a lot of obligations. And so you can't just say, okay, tomorrow we're going to sell it. And that's what he told me anyway.
no, but the banks could take over as well if you take your time. You're the one who sits in the board meetings, no?
No, I'm not a member. None of us is in the board of HLI. But most of the indebtedness of the group of companies in the banks have been taken care of. Of course, there are still, but the big debt is not to the bankers anymore. So you're right, it's not that simple, and it's not that easy to sell. What we're hoping is that some investor who's into agribusiness will come into the picture, and then by providing more jobs to the people there, that would be a nice solution.
We have another question from a viewer. Ferg Singh asks, where did your nickname come
This is
from?
a nice story.
Where did your nickname Ballsy come from?
Okay, I was almost 9 pounds when I was born. I remember my mom saying that her doctor was saying, your baby's so small, Cory, eat some more. So she would have banana splits every day. And when I was born, I was almost 9 pounds. I had a really round face and round eyes.
So she overdid it.
She did. And I looked like a ball.
And my father, no?
Yes, my dad said, she really looks like a ball. Maybe you can call her one ball. They said, no, not one ball. Maybe Ballsy. And, she can change it when she grows older. But since people knew me as Ballsy, it was never changed anymore. And then later on, it became to be known as Gutsy. So my mother said, just stick to Ballsy.
Well, there was a Twitter also who wanted to know if your husband is related to the Cruz family in construction.
No.
No.
Yeah, many people during my mom's time thought he was related. This is FF Cruz.
Yeah.
Not related.
So there was even some account that there were projects given, but
they're not even distantly related.
So what about your husband? What role does he play in the campaign?
Oh, he and a group of other volunteers. You see, many people had volunteered their services, and that was so difficult in the beginning because we couldn't give them assignments. And many of our relatives and friends were saying, what can we do? And so my husband Eldon took it upon himself to get together with these volunteers from the family and friends so that they themselves try to help the other groups, whether it's to provide buses or to give t-shirts to some group that will welcome Noy and Mar, things like that.
You're probably hoping that this is the last time you have to do these campaign things.
Definitely, yeah.
Assuming that Noy wins and that's over, you probably have nephews, children who are interested in politics.
Sons, your sons speak very well.
But my sons, I think, have been brainwashed, at least so far by me, that there are other things they can do for the country. It's my sister Viella's a problem because her son Kiko seems to enjoy and seems to want to be a politician.
You don't think they're just going to let you sit aside? I mean, if he runs, he's just going to let you sit aside?
Yeah, but he's just in first year college.
Okay. So
maybe by then I'll be, I don't know, ugoy as they say, I don't know.
Or you have the right to say, no, I'm done.
I don't think so. I don't think we have the right to say that because we never know. Like, we didn't think that Noyna would run this time. But then you just feel, I can never forget what my parents said. If there's anything or something I could have done and didn't, then I would just be haunted the rest of my life. My conscience would just be bothering me with that.
If not for what happened after your mother's death, did you think Noynoy had the capability, perhaps, to go for the presidency?
Not this time. In fact, it is very clear, and when I go around, I tell people that I don't see Noy as the answer, but she's like the symbol for change. Like, people really want change, and now that Cory's gone, like, who can take her place? Who can remind us when we have to fight for our rights, when we have to fight for our democracy? And I think that since Noy, among the five of us, is the one in politics, then by default, it was Noynoy that the people wanted to face the challenge and to run. And I admire my brother for taking on the challenge, because it was no easy thing. I saw how he really, thought about this, how he prayed and really tried to consult with as many people on whether or not he should take on the challenge. I think that Noynoy is the symbol. That's why he's in this.
We have one last question, and this came from, it's not on the prompter, but is Chris ever going to run?
At least not in the near future, because she says she still wants to have enough so that, she has a son who's a special child, and she's been worried about him. So was my mom. So my mom told her to take care of Josh and his needs. Now that she has a second son, baby James, then she was not as afraid now, because she says if she goes early, she's always thought she wouldn't live long.
Really?
Just like my dad. My dad thought, my dad was in such a hurry because he didn't think he would live long, and he would die at an early age. And I somehow, Chris feels the same way. She says, like Dad, I don't think I'm going to live long in this world. Well, now that baby James is here, then he can help Josh later on. And she was telling me, maybe another 2 years and I'll have saved enough, for my sons. And we tease her, we tell her, if you spend less, you're not as
gastadora.
Yeah. Then she won't have to work for 2 more years to be able to save enough. And she says she's not yet a simple. Mom says when you're a public servant, you have to be simple. And she said, I haven't reached that stage. I'm not yet simple, so maybe not yet, not now.
And you wouldn't even think about running?
Oh, definitely. Not even in my next life.
One final question, and we asked this of Camille, so maybe it's fair to ask you as well. If Noynoy weren't running, who among the candidates would you vote for, or would you go for?
If Mar was running as president, I'd go for Mar, because I really believe in his integrity. He's such a decent man, and he showed how selfless he was when he stepped aside.
Those who are in the running now, none. Can we conclude?
In the running now, without Noynoy. I haven't thought of that, and I can't really think of going for any of the others.
Good answer.
Thank you so much, Boss.
Thank you for coming tonight. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Taking the time out.
And when the rundown returns,
an update on the legacy controversy.
Plus, we give you the rundown of some of the top international stories from news and political websites.
Stay with us on the rundown.
You want to bring him over and show it?
That's the rundown. I'm Cesareña Tilon.
And I'm Ricky Caradang. Stay tuned for Business Nightly. Keep it here on ANC.